It seems quite a number of people are falling for this, but disinformation is being used to justify Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Like, that's insane. Like, that's an aggressive move by Russia, and a lot of people are trying to justify it based on disinformation. The Russian embassy in Canada even publishes disinformation. Almost everything they say is the opposite of what's actually happening. They're trying to say that they're trying to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine. Like, Nazis aren't even in Ukraine. That's silly. Like, so the Russian embassy in Canada literally publishes disinformation claiming that the Russian army isn't occupying Ukrainian territory, even when they are. Like, they took over Chernobyl and a lot of other areas, making threats to Europe, and there's even reports of radiation leaking at Chernobyl because of explosions. And they're claiming that they're taking all measures to preserve lives and safety of civilians, but civilians are being killed. They're saying they're only targeting military facilities, but then evidence shows otherwise. So Russia's literally trying to claim that they're not starting wars, that they're ending them. But Russia started this. I mean, you can't justify NATO doing anything in the past. So all it comes down to is Putin feels entitled that because other people in other countries did things in the past, in its history, that he can do it. He's literally acting like a dictator. I mean, I see a lot of people in Canada who actually believe Russian disinformation. Like, they're trying to say that Russia and China are the good guys. Like, that's absolutely insane. So a little history. Vladimir Putin was an officer in the KGB for like 16 years in the communist Soviet Union. Soviet ideology is like not gone away, if you haven't noticed. The goal of the Soviet Union was like world communism, socialism. Like, they wanted a totalitarian state. Russia even like kind of like threatened to use nuclear weapons because they basically said that they put nuclear forces on alert. And then like at the same time they're saying that if any other country interferes, they're going to see something the world has not seen. So Russian disinformation is literally trying to justify the occupation and invasion of Ukraine, which is illegal, by like trying to say that like, oh, there's Nazis in Ukraine, and they're trying to also justify it saying that like, oh, the Western banking system is evil, and without any banking system, like, you wouldn't be able to borrow any money. Before there was banking system, there was organized crime. I mean, I see a lot of people, they claim to be like researchers and truthers and like they're conspiracy theorists. Like, really? People are trying to say that like, oh, Russia's the good guy standing up to like the Western capitalistic like system and everything, but like, do people realize that, like, the goal of the New World Order is to destroy Western democracy and install world communism? It's the same goal of the Soviet Union. And, like, some say the Soviet Union is still collapsing, but if something is still collapsing, it has not collapsed. I mean, just think about this, like, conspiracy theorists pretending that they care about truth are defending Russia's actions of war, like aggressive actions. They're actually defending them. So it's absolutely crazy that like conspiracy theorists, like people that claim to be truthers, are like literally defending Russia's actions, invading a country. Like, that's pretty aggressive and evil. That's not nice. But like, consider the fact that look at this picture of Putin and George Bush. Communist China and Russia are spreading so much disinformation to intentionally mislead people to try and undermine our democracy. Like, without our democracy, we don't have our freedoms. There's a lot of people on TikTok, it's trending, I guess. People are spreading a lot of anti-capitalism stuff because, like, Russia's justifying a lot of what they do based on, other countries did this in the past, so we're going to do it. They're justifying that. So, like, if you consider the fact that the United States government worked with organized crime in World War II, so it's entirely possible Russian organized crime is, like, literally colluding with the Russian government. That's not out of the question. It's, like, probably happening in China. So, like, Ukraine lived under the Soviet Union for a long time, and then they escaped from Russia and broke away. And then Russia's trying to take Ukraine back, or like parts of it. And they're trying to justify it, trying to say that, they're trying to demilitarize and de-Nazify it, but then, like, it's based on disinformation. So, like, they're going to keep coming up with more lies and lies to cover up their lies. So if Russia actually follows through and, like, actually takes over Ukraine, and they can't find those Nazis, they're just going to keep it. And then they're just going to take over other areas to try and justify that they couldn't find them. And then they're going to start invading those other countries based on that disinformation. Putin is, like, literally trying to justify taking over Ukraine based on lies. Disinformation. And you have a lot of people that claim to be truthers. There's literally an agenda to undermine our democracy and to try and install world communism. That was, like, the same goal of the Soviet Union. And then Putin even talks of a Russian world. Claiming that people of Ukraine want Russia to invade would be like trying to say people of Tibet want to live in communist China. Like, that's crazy. I mean, just think about this. Like, I made the documentary Overpriced, how we can make hemp. And, like, it could compete with fossil fuels and make renewable energy. And, like, we could have energy independence with competition, and, like, having that could help deter other countries from funding Putin's war chest, because a lot of countries are buying oil and gas from Russia and literally funding Putin's war chest. So with this going on, like, Canada and other countries really need energy independence now more than ever. This can't be ignored. This is not the time to ignore it. This is not the time to not allow hemp to fairly compete with fossil fuels. We need all and any sources we can get, because the global market is growing, and a lot of countries are going to probably be buying oil and gas from Russia because they don't really have a whole lot of options.